You've officially tuned in to the Epiphany Podcast, and I'm your host, Joanna Lynn. Thanks for joining me on my journey of spiritual growth, restoration, and most importantly, transformation. You've got a front row seat, so take my hand as we journey together. We're on the Epiphany, y'all. Hey y'all, it is your girl Joanna Lynn, and we are here for episode 43. I am so excited to be here. I know that I kept apologizing for slacking on the episodes, but let me tell you, a lot has happened in the last month. A lot of good, a lot of bad, and a lot of in between. So don't judge me. Just know I am back, and be grateful for this time that we get to spend together, because I know I have missed y'all. I don't have a fancy title yet. I just really wanted to check in and talk to y'all. So first and foremost, we have to address the elephant in the room, okay? The fact that your girl is a published author, okay? Have you caught on for the last year? I kept dropping hints, letting y'all know that I had something exciting coming, and the news is out. If you haven't seen it on Facebook or Instagram or even YouTube, I suggest that you go take a look. My book launch was back in November the 16th. The whole launch video is on YouTube. You can find me, Joanna Lynn. It is also on Facebook and Instagram. I am so excited for this book. I titled it Overcoming because your girl has been through a lot, and I love talking to y'all every single week about things that are in my mind, things that I'm feeling, things that I'm going through at the time. But this book, it is packed full of testimonies, of statements, of emotions, of honesty, transparency, of feelings and emotions and things that I was going through right in the middle of going through my problems. Okay. So this is something that if you have found yourself stuck in a rut, or don't really know how to move forward, or not don't know how to heal past a certain situation, or if you just need a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of inspiration, this is definitely the book for you. So please check it out. Go to my website, www.iamjoannalynn.com, and place your order for my book. It is called Overcoming, Trusting God Through the Process. And let me tell you, it is going to bless your soul. It is going to touch your spirit. And my biggest prayer is that it will just heal, it will help, and it will restore anyone and everyone that graces their hands or their minds or their eyes or anything in their hearts. I just want people to be touched and to know how good God is and how much He loves you. So please do your girl a solid and check it out. The second thing I want to ask of y'all is to please, if you have not gotten a chance, leave your girl a review. Please. You know, that's how we get new listeners. We get new followers by reading the reviews. Y'all are amazing, and I appreciate y'all for sticking with me through the consistency and through the lack. But that is really what I want to talk about. You know, this 2020 has been a monster. It has been a monster, and each and every one of us have been touched in different ways. I feel like it's affected us differently. It's like one thing after the next. As soon as you feel like you're some sort of caught up or have some sort of plan in mind, then boom, something else happens and just throws you completely off track. So this year is definitely one for the books, but I can say that there has been a lot of amazingness happening in 2020. And I really just want to encourage y'all. And the reason I can tell you this is because I know what it is like for the future to look very bleak, to look very dark, to look very empty. You can read about it all in my book. 13 years of not knowing what was to come, not looking forward to anything, not knowing that there was a possibility of a future. But now, here I am looking at 2020, and it's been a monster, but there has also been so many blessings and so many eye-opening moments that I've had with God, so many revelations, so many new fresh ideas. I'm really really excited. I remember this time last year I was talking to y'all about going back to school, and I was saying how I was kind of struggling because me being the goody two shoes, smarty pants, genius of a girl I was back in school, and then getting into that relationship and falling into that horrible lifestyle. Um, I never got the chance to go to college. And so I have been single and healing and trying to pick the pieces of my life up and put them back together for the last 2 years now. It officially has been 2 years in July. So I'm excited for what God is doing for me, but I have been very, very confused about what I should do next. And I know this is really crazy because I almost want to say I have too many choices or too many opportunities. And I know that's not something that people just go around complaining about. But I think for me is, it's one thing when you have something in your mind as to what you always thought your life would look like or what you thought your life would be. But standing in these 32-year-old shoes that I'm standing in right now, my life is honestly nothing that I would have picked, nothing I would have dreamed, and nothing I would have ever imagined. I am so grateful for where I am right now, especially in hindsight, looking from where I came from. It's hard for me to fix my mouth to complain, but I have to be honest and say I think I really have. I don't want to say I'm stuck in a rut, but I feel like I've kind of hit a brick wall because when I first set out on this journey in 2018, I was so broken. My only focus was healing. And then the momentum picked up, and I started to heal, and I started to transform, and I started to turn into the woman, girlfriend, sister that y'all love so much today, that I love, that God loves. So I turned into me. I really learned a lot about myself, and every day is a new step and a new lesson. But the last couple of months, I kind of have dropped from that high of, oh, I'm healed, oh, I'm restored, oh, I'm transformed, oh, I'm doing amazing things, oh, I'm so much better than I was before. I was kind of on that high, and now I feel like I've plummeted, almost like a caffeine crash when you drink too much coffee and you have all this energy and you're running around and all of a sudden you just fall out and pass out. I kind of feel like I've passed out. I kind of feel like I won't say hit rock bottom because I've been at rock bottom and I am never going back there. But I've kind of hit a place where I'm at a plateau. Just like any other journey where I'm like, well, what happens next? I healed. I was broken. God has put me back together. Now what? Now what? And again, I don't want to be ungrateful and I don't want to complain, but it's like I just don't know what to do, like where my life is headed next. And while that's exciting, it's also very nerve wracking and frustrating because I am a planner. I live based on a calendar and I like to put things together. I like for things to go smoothly. And while I understand that my life is in God's hands and He is the author of my story, He is the writer, He is the beginning and the end, and I respect that and I love that and I cherish that. It's also very difficult to just kind of sit back and say, I really don't know what I'm doing, y'all. I've started this podcast and I love it. But it ain't paying the bills, and I'm not saying that to be funny. It's enjoyable. It's a hobby. But it is definitely not building my house, paying off my car, or putting money in my savings account. And I just published this book and I am so excited for what God is going to do with it. But this book being published was more so doing what God called me to do and to be used as a tool for other people. I didn't publish a book with financial gain in mind. While, yes, there will be some financial benefits, that's also not something that I use full time. So I'm just looking at my life like, where do I go next? And the struggle I had last year, really struggling on whether I should go back to school or not. And I say last year because that's really when it got heavy on me, but there's something that's been on my heart and mind. So part of me felt like I had to go back to school just to kind of prove to myself and even to my mom and to my family that I was still capable, almost like so I can feel accomplished or feel like I had actually did something with myself. But I've been struggling because I'm like, well, when I was 17 coming out of school, originally I wanted to go to law school. I wanted to be a lawyer. Then I thought about going to nursing school. And I know I've expressed this before, but we have these stereotypical time frames that are kind of eating at us. And I'm like, 32, if I go to law school, I'm going to be well into my 40s. Is it feasible for me to do that? And when I say that kind of stuff, it's because I'm an overthinker and I'm a very analytical person. If you're listening to me say that, please don't take that as a discouragement. Like, my intention is never to discourage anyone from living out their dream. There is no age where you are too old to do anything on this earth. That is not what I'm trying to force or portray or push out on you. And if you get that kind of vibe, I'm so, so sorry. But I'm just a thinker. I'm a very logical thinker. So to me, I know a lot of people who went to school for things like business or psychiatry or psychology or, just to get a degree, kind of, some people general studies or whatever the case is, went to school and aren't working in the field that they got a degree in, or have a degree and make less or almost the same amount as I do with no degree. So I'm just trying to be mindful because, I'm not 18. I can't get a full ride scholarship to school straight off the bat right now. I will have to come out of pocket with some expenses. It's also an investment of time with a full time job and being so consumed in ministry the way I am, serving at church on the worship team, also being a youth mentor, doing this podcast, now selling a book. I have a lot of things on my plate that I love and enjoy doing, and I get great reward out of. However, there's not much time in the day left for, oh, let me study. Oh, let me take this test. Oh, let me do this, So going back to school would be a life change for me. So I'm just kind of looking at trying to weigh the options, the pros and the cons, and also just trying to decide what I want to go to school for. Because I am so, I'm not trying to toot my horn and say I'm like super talented in all areas, but I'm very versatile. There's a lot of things that I'm really good at, or a lot of things that I can, you have satisfactory where almost like a C, you can make it, and then you have things that you excel at. Well, there's a lot of things that I can accomplish, I can do with some sense of ease. So I know that if I was to be a nurse, I feel like I would be a great nurse. If I was to be a doctor, I feel like I'd be a great doctor. If I was to go to school for accounting, I'd be a great accountant. I love money and numbers, and there's so many opportunities and avenues that I could go in, but it's also very frustrating because I'm at the point in life where I chose in the beginning and I made the completely wrong choice. I made a choice that was not of God. I didn't consult God, and I did what I wanted and what I thought was right. So I'm trying to be very mindful about consulting God in my future and in my plans. You know, you can make a plan today and God can wreck them tomorrow, because ultimately it's about him getting the glory. And he did create you for a purpose. He did put you on this earth to fulfill a mission. So I'm mindful of that. I'm aware of that. And I just want to make sure that whatever it is I choose to do, if it's working at Goodwill for the rest of my life, or working at a homeless shelter, or selling houses, or podcasting, or whatever it is, I want to make sure it is something that God called me to, and that God will be able to utilize me to the maximum, to the full extent that He needs to. You know, now, I'm not saying that God cannot bless you or give you or make you fruitful or use you in all different types of scenes and scenarios. By all means, he can use you anywhere, in any way, shape, or form. But I just want to be mindful of what he really and truly created me for, and where he really would like to use me. That is not something that has been evident to me. You know, there's some people who, from the time they're 5 or 6 or 7, they had a word from God, or a touch from God, or a vision, or just an urge that they knew they were meant to fulfill their purpose in a certain role, whether it's pastoring or worshiping, or, all those different things. I can't honestly say that I just have this strong, profound revelation of what God called me to do per se. I find myself serving in so many different areas. Again, I'm sufficient in those areas, but I don't know if I'm excelling or actually being used to my full potential, or, used in the way that God needs to use me at this time in my life. So I've just been really heavy in prayer. And I do want to ask y'all, if you're praying, women and men, if y'all could just shoot up a little prayer for me, or be in prayer with me, stand in agreement with me that God is going to reveal that and make it very clear to me the next few steps that I need to take. Um, but here I am a year later. For a while I kind of put off the idea of school, but it has been made very evident to me that I do need to go back to school. Not only do I desire it, not only do I want it, but it is something that I'm going to do. I've been very, very heavy in prayer as to what I should go to school for, and how getting this degree is going to affect my future as far as the next few years and the steps that I take. Um, I also have been struggling with the whole being single thing. Like, I've always been real with y'all, I've always been honest. And this is just a really strange place for me. Again, because like I said, when we have dreams or visions of what we think our life is going to be like, um, 20 years ago, I never thought I would have been an author. I never thought I would have been podcasting, which podcasting wasn't really a thing, but comparable, let's say, radio host, or, talk show host, or, there was a post on Facebook that was floating around that I shared, and it was asking people, just by looking at you or knowing you, what kind of job they thought you would have. And a lot of people actually responded that they thought I would be a talk show host or a radio host. And a part of me kind of felt like, oh, it's just because I have a podcast, and that's just kind of the image that they see of me. But a lot of people elaborated, were like, no, it's just your personality, you're a people person. And I know that whatever I do is going to be about people or involved in people, because I do love people. I have a strong, strong love for people, for very diverse groups of people. I'm not attracted to just one cultural background, or one race or religion or type of person. I love people. I love uniqueness. I love diversity. I love it all. So, I do know that whatever God is doing with me is going to be dealing with people hands on directly. um, just doing his work. So I'm excited for that. But again, being 32, I never thought I would be single. I never thought I wouldn't have a husband at this age. I never thought that I wouldn't have a boyfriend at this age. I never thought that I wouldn't have children at this age. And it's a strange place. Like I said, 2020 has brought some crazy things, and it has also brought time to reflect and think. And, you know, even thinking about going back to school, a part of me is always like, well, what if my husband comes along? What if I end up getting married and then I have to halt? I'm halfway through school and then I might have to stop. Or what if I end up getting pregnant and that's going to change things? But I'm just trying to tell myself to be grateful because I know so many women and so many men who are married and who have children and who have dreams of going back to school or finishing. They've been working on getting their degree for 5 years, and what they wouldn't give to just have a clean slate, open doors and opportunities to just be able to choose. It's just me. I have no attachments. I have my mother here, um, that lives in the same town as me, but my brother's in the Navy. My father passed away. I don't have any other family. I don't have a husband or children. So if I wanted to move to India or to Australia or London, I could do that. I could pick up everything I have and just go wherever I want, wherever God leads me, however I feel like I can do that. And so, while it may be uncharted territory for me, or it might be uncomfortable or strange, I also want to be mindful that the place I am in life is some people's dream. It's some people's fantasy. It's something that some people wish they had. So, just be praying for your girl for clarity, for that I just make the right choices. I think a part of me really too is just afraid to make the wrong choice because I know I've done that before and it was a drastic mistake. It was an atrocious mistake. It was a travesty. You hear me? A travesty. So I guess I really deep down, if I have to be real, I'm just afraid of making that mistake again, of just jumping on a whim and saying, oh, well, this is what I want to do, and not really consulting God and not really doing what it is that He needs from me. So I'm just trying to keep that in the forefront. But I appreciate y'all for listening to me rant. I feel like it's been so long. I didn't want to pick a specific lesson or topic. I just kind of wanted to talk to y'all about what was on my mind today. Sometimes it's good to just blurt it all out, get it all out, And podcasting is great for that because I can talk and I really don't have to see your reaction. You could be laughing at me. You could be rolling your eyes, honey. You could be crying. You could be cheering me on, and I don't really get to see it. So it's a good thing and a bad thing. But I have a lot of great people who reach out to me and continue to encourage me. I cannot thank you guys enough. I do just want to repeat, Joanna Linton is an author, a published author. I just thank God for that. Now that is something I never would have imagined in my wildest dreams. So make sure that you check the website out. IamJoannaLynn.com. The book is available. If you live in Southeast Texas, you can select to pick it up. If you don't, you can go ahead and get it shipped to you. It will definitely touch you in unfathomable ways. Believe me, a lot of blood, sweat, tears, emotions, and prayers went into this book. So, if you do choose to purchase it, just know that there is not one page in there that did not pray over and pray about. It was definitely a turning point in my life, and it's ultimately just about how I became an overcomer. I did not succumb to my circumstances, but I allowed God to elevate me, and I have overcame the adversity and the trauma that the enemy tried to stunt my life with, and just about how I had to learn to trust God through the process. So it's a really, really good read, and I'm not just saying that because it's my own book. I'm saying it because I know that God is going to touch you in amazing ways, and He's going to show you everything that you've been asking, and the questions that you've had. He's going to help you with that. So make sure you check that out. Even if you don't have the desire to purchase it, if you could just share it to your stories, to your page, talk to your coworkers, your family members. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to go ahead and let you go, and I will talk to y'all next week. Bye bye.